hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
Sam
hip
Ant.
hop,
Oh God.
hop,
What's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal.
How is it working in front of a live studio audience? You hear it watching on TV, all right, it's filmed in front of a live studio audience, but you never know like what that vibe is like unless you're there. How was that for you?
Man, that vibe is so dope, man. I'm gonna tell you what I learned about it. You know, when Bruh Man used to come through the window, everybody used to clap. I'm gonna tell you how that started because I did a show. I did Different World with the episode with Billy D. Williams on there.
Okay.
And Billy D. Williams ain't never come out in front of the audience until it was time for him to make his entrance. So it was that much bigger. So if the audience see you all throughout the show, you know, you walking around and waiting for your time, you walking around looking at the audience. When they see you, it's not no surprise. So I learned that from him, man. So I always stayed in the back, you know, so when the time rubbing that come through the window, everybody like, ah, you know, so that's how I got it from, man. I used to love on Thursday. I think we taped on Friday nights. I used to love, like, you know how some people, man, be like, hey, man, dang, they look at the clock, man, I got 10 more hours. I got to be to work. Man, I used to look at my clock like, God, dog, man, I got 8 more hours before I get there. I used to want to get there, man. I used to be anxious, man. I loved it, man. I love it to this day. Now, Bernie, we didn't have an audience.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that was the best show I ever worked on, man. I mean, that show, Bernie was like, man, that wasn't even like work, man. I mean, they'll call me and my friend Mike, Ralph, man, he's the other dude at the table. They'll call us in to come in at you say your call time at 10 a.m. We'll get there at 10 a.m., man, and they like, you know what? We got 3 scenes before you guys sing. And by not doing it in an audience, they got to set the cameras up and all that different angles. So, man, with me and my man say, hey, man, can we go play golf? And y'all just call us when y'all ready for us. They say, yeah, y'all go ahead. You got time. We'll go, man, play some golf, man. They'll call us, say, okay, you guys start making your way back. We get back, dog, it's lunch.
Wow.
And then it's cool thing about it. We sit around the table, right? So we sitting around the table talking, man. Bernie, you know, doing this thing, man. Bernie telling jokes, man. We are telling real life story stuff, and man, we laughing. They say action, we'll go right into our stuff, man. When they say cut, we'll go right back to the jokes and stuff, laughing, man. So it's like we had a system. I mean, we were so good working out for one another, man. That was the cool thing. That's why I say it's like it wasn't like we working, man.
Now I heard you talking in the interview. I forget who it was with, but you were talking about Bernie Mac and the fact that you said he worked himself to death. Could you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, man. I mean, Bernie told us one time, man. He said, man, he told us one time, man. He said, he was working, and what's his name? What's the white boy name that was in Ocean's 11? What's his name? Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
He said Brad Pitt had broke his ankle, and he said Brad Pitt broke his ankle, so they had to push production back. You know, so Bernie was working on Guess Who. You know, that was his first solo project. And so it wasn't Bernie's fault that Brad Pitt broke his ankle. And Bernie was like, hey, man, I got to do my thing. He said, man, they took him to lunch. Says some Italian cats, man, took him to lunch. He like, yo, Bernie, we fucking made you. We the one that made you. All that fucking stuff that you do with all that, that's bullshit. We made you. And he said, man, he got so scared. Then when they got through talking to him, he like, come on, man, don't kill me, man. Don't kill me, man. That's a true story, man. I mean, they worked him, you know, and he said he was supposed to get like, $3 million to do it. And they cut his stuff all the way down to like 500,000, man.
Wow.
Because, and you know, from his from a 3-month shoot to like 3 weeks or something like that, man. And it wasn't his fault, you know. I mean, he was out trying to promote his solo project, man, but you know, he couldn't help that this man, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think they worked because he already had the situation with his lungs, man. And matter of fact, we was on the set, you know, we'll do our scene, man. Then he had to go into his dressing room and get on the oxygen because he couldn't breathe, you know. Damn. So that's why I say, man, he worked himself to death, man. I mean, he had a big heart. He tried to fulfill everything that he had to fulfill, man. And, you know, sometimes you can work yourself too much, man, especially when you have an illness, you know.
It was such a shock to us from a fan's perspective because it wasn't social media like the way it was now, to where we had all the information valuable to us. So when he passed away, I believe, what was it, 2008 or?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere
around that time. It was a shock to all of us because it seemed like he was right on top of his game. You think of Kings of Comedy and Bernie Mac show, and then like you said, Guess Who and Ocean's 11 and all that, and then it just happened for us. But did you guys know that something was wrong? Like looking at him and being around. Okay. Yeah,
we knew because you know his face swelled up because he was on that prednisone, and you know that does it. You know, and yeah, like I say, we'll do the scene, man, and he'll go on you know, oxygen. And but he was still himself, man. He was still laughing and joking and, you know, carrying on, man. I mean, when Flavor Flav was on the show. Flavor, you know how Flavor is, man. So Bernie kept trying to avoid it, man, because Flavor had all that energy, you know. So Bernie went in the hallway, man, and Flavor happened to pass by. Hey, Bernie, hey, boy. Bernie like, oh, hell, here you come.
Oh,
man. So, man, he still with himself, though. Play around, joke, laugh, man. I mean, that's why, man, when I talk about my man, I get emotional, man, because he's one of the coolest dudes in the game, man. When he asks you how you doing, he meant how you doing. He didn't mean what kind of movie deal you got. You know what I'm saying? He was real.
Word. Now, he was from an era of comedy where there wasn't a politically correct way of saying the shit he was saying. He kept it all the way 100. I don't know if that would fly in today's society where everything got to be so tiptoe and through the tulips, man. How do you think he would have transitioned into comedy now in today's society?
Is how comedy would have transitioned to him. That's what it would have been. Because Bernie had his own style, his own way, man, and I say him and Robin Harris could be in that same mode. You know what I'm saying? You know, that same uncle at the picnic, you know, messing up everything, keeping it real, telling the truth, and hurting people's feelings. You know? That's how both of them cats be, man. You know what I'm saying? So comedy would have had to adjust to their style. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have had to adjust to what's going on today. You know, everybody would have been trying to be like Bernie or Robin Harris. Yeah, that's what it would have been like.
Salute to them kings, man. Red Fox too.
Definitely.
No doubt. That, especially Red Fox. I mean, to this day, Sanford and Son is my favorite show. I watch it almost every day, brother. Matter of fact, when I get through talking to y'all, I'm finna pop on my Hulu, my Prime, and
motherfucking Sanford and Son.
That's my show. Since ain't no basketball, you know. My boy LeBron ain't playing.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, speaking to other people who were taken out before that time, Nipsey and Tupac. Now, is it true that you met Nipsey and Tupac 2 weeks before they died?
Yeah, man. I was at the airport for Nipsey. I was at the airport. Man, I think I did a movie with Nipsey, man. I think it was called. Man, I forgot the name of the movie, man. But I did it with him, and I was at the airport though, right? Like about 2 weeks before he died, man. I was at the airport, and I was in line at Starbucks, man, and he was on the phone, and I was in line, so he came over there, man. He was like, put the phone down, I said, yo, and you know, dap me up. I said, hey, man, you know, and so he got back on the phone, man, and he's like, you know, much love. So he's on the phone, and that's the last time I seen him. And then Tupac, man, I was at the Comedy Store, and you know, over early so that I could beat all the people, you know. So when I walked out the door, man, he was standing right in front of the doorway, man. I said, yo, man, what's up, man? He said, what's up? You know, and I rolled out. Next thing I know, man, he was gone.
Damn.
And he was supposed. I knew this girl, her uncle was about to take him on tour, go on tour, and she told me, she said, "Yeah, my uncle finna take Tupac on tour." I said, "Oh, that's cool." And man, right after that, man, I seen him, and right after that, he was dead.
In your opinion, since you got a chance to witness both of their deaths, could you kind of compare and contrast when Tupac died as opposed to when Nipsey died, the effect on hip hop?
You know, Nipsey's death was a little different because this man was finna change things, man. He was finna,